Well, hello everybody. Welcome to P.B.M. Money. So I went to get my taxes done. No, I should back up. Second stimulus check, haven't received it. And got a letter in the mail from the U.S. Treasury, and it said, I guess they farmed it out to an individual company to print the checks. Just another way to waste money, who knows. But the letter was from the Treasury, and it said, we farmed this out, and if you don't receive your check in 7 days from the time you receive this letter, go to this website or call this number. Okay. And when I read it, I thought, okay, you can spend the time and money to get the letter and the thing and send it to me, but you can't send my check? Am I missing something here? So anyway, I did not receive my check. I called the number because I don't like to do techie things. So I called the number and they said, go to this website. Of course it did. So I went to the website and it said, if you haven't got your second check, and it had something to do with taxes, and I didn't know what it was. So now I go to do my taxes and I take the letter and the lady looks at me like she's never seen this before. And I said, my question is this going to be included in my refund? And she reads it and she gets online and reads it and she says, yep. It's called the EI something or other, whatever not. So anyway, so I'm going to get a nice refund. And this is the second check, the $600 one. So I'm going to get a nice amount back. And then I was thinking about it later and I was thinking, okay, the third one's coming, that's going to be $1,400. So then I thought, well, I started thinking, what is the best thing that I could do with this money? My kind of large tax refund and the $1,400 stimulus check. So I went through all the gyrations and I thought about it and made notes, and I came to the conclusion, this is the conclusion I came to. It really depends on your situation and where you are. As an example, if you are just getting started on your financial journey, as an example, getting out of college or just now getting serious about it, you're probably in the pay off my debt thing. And that could be a car debt, it could be student loans, it could be credit cards, it could be a lot of debt. My recommendation would be, and this has to do with any lump sum, okay? Well, the first thing you need to do is tithe, 10%. Always tithe on all of your money, but a lot of people forget about lump sum. So tithe. And then if you're in the pay off my debt mode, I would go to the smallest debt that I owe and pay that off. Then go to the next smallest and pay that off. The average person, I saw this today, the average American has a little over $6,000 in credit card debt. So if you get a nice tax refund, that'll make a nice dent, plus the $1,400 stimulus, plus the last $600, that's another $2,000. You can knock that out. But paying off debt is probably the number one thing I would do. If you got most of your debt paid off, good for you. Congratulations, you're on your way. The next thing to do is to save it. Now there's a difference between savings and investing, and I strongly recommend saving at this point. And I still do. I've got a couple of sinking funds that I'm going to put some of the money in. One of them is for car repairs. I'm going to boost up my emergency fund and my investment account. And if you are, well, I guess it doesn't matter who you're working for. If you have a 401k or a Roth or a mutual fund, I would contribute as much as you can to that. That makes sense. I mean, don't contribute if you're not going to get any tax benefit from it. But if you're going to get matching funds or tax benefits or saving is good. And I would strongly recommend once you get your debt paid off, then the next thing I would do would be savings, and there's no such thing as saving too much money. You can't ever save too much. The difference is, once you have the savings, are you maximizing your savings or are you sacrificing money and profit for the sake of security and liquidity? At different times call for different strategies. So right now I would be saving my money, building up my cash reserves. If you've got those first two handled, let's talk about investing. Now, I will probably do a little bit of that with my tax refund, but not a lot. And I'll tell you where I was thinking about going. I was thinking about putting a couple hundred in some crypto, just because I know nothing about it, but everybody's been talking about this for years, and if I put money in there that I really hadn't expected to get anyway, and it does well, good for me. And if it does poorly, nothing ventured, nothing gained. But if you have a Robinhood account or a Webull account or one of those stock buying, you could go buy some stocks or a managed fund or bonds. I'm not sure about the bond market. Normally when the stock market goes down, bonds go up and vice versa. That really hasn't been the case recently. So I think the investors are kind of confused. But you could do that. And then the other two I was looking at, and I still haven't ruled them out, is collectibles that hold value. That's the key here, that hold their value. One of the ones that I was looking at was a Rolex watch, a used Rolex watch. And I've been doing a lot of research, not just on Rolexes, but on other kinds of watches. And I just am not smart enough to know any better. So before I make any decisions, I want to go and pick some professionals' brains. And then the last one is precious metals. But again, here's the conundrum I have, the same as with bonds. When the stock market goes up, gold and silver should go up. And when the stock market goes up, gold and silver should go down, and vice versa, just like bonds. And it has not been doing that consistently. It has been, but not consistently. Again, I think there's some confusion in the market, and I've done other videos on that. Now, when we got down here, we started talking about collectibles and gold and silver and stuff. I want to tell you about a little thing that I heard. I was listening to an investment program on the radio, and I cannot remember the guy's name. Anyway, it's a call-in show, and you ask him a question, and for the most part, I agree with what he says. Sometimes I think what he says is a little show businessy, but whatever. But one of his rules is anytime you come into a lump sum of money, for your mental health, he suggests that you take 10% and go blow it on whatever it is you want to do. If you want to go clothes shopping, go do that. If you want to go on a small vacation, go do that. Or go out to dinner. But do something fun. And when I heard that, I thought, again, I think that depends on where you are in your financial walk. I think if you owe a lot of debt, it's kind of foolish to do that. Now, I did not own a lot of debt, but I didn't have a lot of savings. And I recently came into an insurance payout, which, by the way, let me say here, State Farm sucks, okay? Any other insurance company would have settled for a fair amount, which would have been around, my share would have been around $40,000 or $50,000. It was nowhere near that. Anyway, I digress. But But I think if you come into a lump sum of money and you owe a bunch of debt, I would still try to pick off one of the small cards that you owe on, and then I would take 10 or 15% and go blow it on something, and then anything that's left, go back and apply more to debt. And like I said, I don't have a lot of debt. In fact, I don't really have any except my car. And so when I got that check, I just invested it all. I mean, I started a couple of different savings accounts, my investment account, and then I opened my Webull account, and it just started going from there, and we've done very well. Everybody in the stock market right now looks like a genius. I'm no exception. I am no genius, but I look like one because I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. No, not really. But so anyway, I was sitting down looking at my numbers for the so far for the year, and I think by the end of this month I will have reached my savings goals for the entire year already. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 10% from my insurance check now that we're here, and I'm going to go do something with it. And I'm either going to put it, you know, I'm probably going to buy a collectible. I'm thinking like maybe a ring of some type, a diamond or ruby or something. I kind of nixed the Rolex for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's no guarantee on their value. I mean, they will hold value. I'm just not sure they'll hold the full value. And secondly, I talked to somebody that had a Rolex, and they said in this area, every time it breaks or there's something wrong, first off, you have to ship it away, and it's usually an automatic $500 bill. Well, if I'm buying a used watch, chances are there's going to be an issue soon, and I'm buying it to save the value of my money, not to spend $500 every year or two on it because something's wrong with it. So I'm pretty sure the Rolex is out, but and I don't wear much jewelry anyway, but if I go out somewhere, I might wear a ring or a bracelet. I might do that. So I'm still thinking about it. I'm still looking. Now, for all of you that still have a lot of debt and you just feel like, who knows, do what a lot of people do. Just take your lump sum and just go blow it on anything. Show that you have nothing to show for it when it's gone. You cashed it in, you've frittered away all the money, and now you're right back where you were. You got nothing. You got nothing to show for the lump sum of cash that you had, and now you get to live your life the same way you were living it before. Okay, in case you can't tell, that was dripping with sarcasm. Do not go blow it. Okay, do not go blow it. These are the three basic things. I know there's a lot of other things people do with lump sum. You know, they go buy a used car or a computer, or, you know, I get it. But what I'm saying is those are consumer items. I'm talking about things that will help you on your financial walk. And these four things will do it. Just to rehash. Number one, tithe. God can do more with 10% than you can do with 100%, so always tithe. Pay off any debt outside of your home. Savings, and there's many different types of savings account that you could add to. You don't have to put it all there, but if you've got any sinking funds or investment account, emergency fund, add to those. And then lastly, invest. And the way you divide that will depend on where you are in your financial walk. Well, that's about all I wanted to talk about. You guys have a great week, and happy investing.